Hey everyone, Adam here, So Was Your Podcast. Today I have a movie review for you. I got to check out the documentary, kind of a biopic, Smoke and Mirrors, The Story of Tom Savini. It's important to have The Story of Tom Savini at the end because there are a ton of movies called Smoke and Mirrors. Anyway, Tom Savini, if you don't know the name, and I'm not sure why you'd be watching a video reviewing movies or talking about movies on a channel that talks exclusively about movies and people who make movies, but Tom Savini is a special effects master who's been in the industry forever and also became an actor at first through his special effects work and then kind of independent from it. I first recognized him in from Dusk Till Dawn, where he played Sex Machine, funny role, and he helped develop a lot of the creature effects for that. Tom Savini also a stuntman, so this guy does it all. I was really excited to watch this movie. I believe you can watch it now on Amc Plus because they're doing a big push for Halloween. AMC always does that Fright Fest horror, whatever, rebranding, tired Halloween stuff you want to get into. I don't know why it's only associated with Halloween. I guess the monster makeup, but whatever you have to do, check out Smoke and Mirrors, the Tom Savini story. It's just called Smoke and Mirrors, the Story of Tom Savini. Sorry, I got that wrong. It's really good special effects, and it was cool because just through rumors, I'm not even sure where I first heard it, I always heard Tom Savini was really difficult to work with. And I don't know anyone inside the industry. This is purely just hearsay among movie fans that I happen to know. I'm hoping I'm the only one who heard that because watching this documentary, no, he's not a perfect guy, but he just has this great attitude about his work and this can-do attitude and this wonderment about making everything perfect. And I love his multi-talented, multifaceted approach to making movies where it's just like, yeah, hey, I can do that. You need me to do monster makeup? Yeah, I can do that. You need me to put on the makeup and get into a character? Yeah, I can do that too. You need me to act without the makeup? Yeah, sure, why not? Oh, you need me to get hit by a car and roll over the hood? Oh, okay, cool. Oh, you want me to play a straight drama role in The Perks of Being a Wallflower? I can also do that. I mean, Tom Savini seems unstoppable. And this is also the perfect kind of documentary because there's so much there. It's such a rich thing, and there's so many people to talk about him, but Tom Savini is still alive and working. He's backed off a little bit on the special effects stuff, which this was a really tragic part of the documentary because his hands just don't have the dexterity they used to, you know. Lifetime of fine motor skill movements can really do that to you. But he is still active in the industry. He still helps teach. There's a school set up in his name. He kind of like the, Stan Winston School of Special Effects. I'm not even going to look it up because this isn't about that guy. This is all about Tom Savini. The documentary is really well made. It gives a lot of looks at, well, first off, his life. It starts with him as a child, where he got his inspiration, how he got his start, how he kind of forced his way into the star and saw behind the curtain as a kid before most kids see behind the showbiz curtain and used that to his advantage, which was awesome. It follows him all the way up through adulthood, and Tom Savini is actually in the documentary. It's not one of those kind of unlicensed fan documentaries where they don't really talk to anyone real. They talk to like the cousin of a friend of the second nephew of whoever did a project with Tom Savini. This is Tom. This is people in his life. This is his family, his friends, his colleagues. It's all there. It's great. It was directed by Jason Baker, who is a special effects guy in his own right, and Jason's IMDb page is almost as big as Tom's, so the guy's in show business, and there's a lot of threads that cross with Tom Savini's own life, so you can see why he's interested in it, and it's a really well-made, well-executed documentary. The camera confessionals are fantastic, the samples of his work are fantastic, and it doesn't really pull its punches when it comes to the I don't want to say downer because I don't want to make you think this is a depressing kind of documentary, but Tom is honest about the faults in his past, you know, with his family life, his personal life. I don't want to get into every specific detail and give the whole thing away on you, but it's a very honest feeling look at the man outside from just the work. I mentioned a little bit earlier in this video that there was a lot of conflicting information on when exactly this thing is coming out. From what I'm reading on IMDb, this movie was actually made in 2015. I don't know what the holdup was. Maybe it was made on the Jason Baker's own dime. Maybe it was made by a really small indie studio and it didn't have distribution. Maybe it spent that long doing the film festival circuit. COVID could have set it back a couple years. That's been happening a lot, of course. But it is out in a lot of parts of the world. It's out in many languages, which is cool because the work like Tom Savini's and those older kind of like cheesy but endearing horror and thriller movies are worldwide. It's not just an American thing that Americans like. So the fact that this is getting more and more reach is fantastic. I guess it doesn't really matter when it was made. The information's still relevant. The information's still great. And Tom Savini, I'm glad he's still alive and working, but his work and his legacy are going to live on beyond him. He is going to be a name in show business for years after his passing, which let's all hope is not too soon, because I feel like this guy still has even more to contribute. And it seems like he's gotten past a lot of those bumps in his personal life and the things that he maybe regrets, and he's making up for it in his own life, his own way. He owes the audience nothing. He's done enough for us. But just to see someone who's given us so much be able to focus on his personal life and get that stuff in order, it's a feel-good story on top of an informational documentary. And I said it's a bit biopic, but there's no scripted written parts. There's not an actor playing young Tom Savini. It's very much a documentary, but it is about him, not just about the work. Very cool. It's only 90 minutes, which usually for a documentary I think is kind of the sweet spot, maybe even a long for some of them. This felt like it was over in about 20. I sat down to put this on to do this review, and I was also really pumped to see something about Tom Savini, who I've been a fan of since I was probably, 12 or 13, and I learned so much in here. I put this thing on, I blinked and it was over, and I said, oh, that's it? They could have made this a series. There's so much more story there. It was 90 minutes, and that's always a great sign of a movie. I mean, if you're watching a movie and you wonder how long is left and you're only 10 minutes in, it's a bad sign. So just to reiterate one more time, Smoke and Mirrors, The Story of Tom Savini, available now on Amc Plus and likely in a lot of other places. Definitely check it out. It's worth whatever the price of admission is on whatever platform you decide to use. It's 90 minutes of pure movie-making joy and information about a guy who, even if you didn't know his name before watching this review or before watching his documentary, is a household name and it did influence your pop culture experience. I have a lot more interviews, a lot more new movie coverage, unboxings, all that same usual awesome stuff coming your way. So make sure you like and subscribe. You're not going to want to miss out. Also, make sure you listen to So Wizard Podcast every single week wherever you get your podcasts. So Wizard Podcast can also be found on Patreon, where for as little as $1 a month, you get multiple monthly bonus shows. SoWizardPodcast.com is your resource for reviews, recommendations, videos, merchandise, and more. We love hearing feedback, so drop us a note in the comments, leave us something on social media. All of our accounts will be found after the show and in the show notes. And on a more personal note, a good friend and I have an ongoing comedy comic series out. It's inspired by the cartoons of the 90s that we grew up on and love. It's a slice of life comedy comic about the ridiculousness of the high school experience that we've all been through, we can all relate to. Follows a unique cast of characters. We're having a ton of fun making it. We've been getting great feedback. We love talking to people about it. You can find our entire first chapter, 7 issues, as individual issues, physical or digital, or in a big paperback, or as a giant digital compilation on socialstudiescomic.com. And chapter 2 starts in just a few months, so now's a great time to catch up. Thanks.